been, who is a true leader?
A proper leader should be a Nigerian that is truly Nigerian. A Nigerian that will not only lead Nigeria, somebody who can also lead Africa. Because Nigeria and the Community of Nations is not an ordinary country. Most of the African countries look towards Nigeria for leadership.
The noble efforts of patriots in pre-independent Nigeria have been well documented. They represented the finest of Nigeria's history and reference point for character development.
We must ensure that in an independent Nigeria, individual citizens throughout the land enjoy liberty, human dignity, and equality under the law. There must be one Nigeria with one constitution and one law for all. Let us therefore, Mr. Chairman, sir, close our ears to the Council of Despair, which says that we cannot here at this conference agree on a constitution.
Nigerians always see their leader as if just Nigerian leader. They don't know how we are seen outside. And if they are able to get the right person who understands the situation, understands Nigerians, who is not greedy, somebody who is ready to sacrifice. Because for a country that have so much resources like Nigeria, Nigeria is not a poor country, but we have so many poor people.
Prime Minister Balewa is making an official visit to America at the invitation of the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy.
And we respect the people of the United States for their love of freedom. The spirit of freedom which was kindled in the hearts of the founder of your great nation and has impelled you to great feats in moments of national emergency, as well as in your daily activities. That same spirit has shown itself in Africa, and we are determined that the flame of freedom once alight shall not go out again in our continent.
Nigeria's reputation around the world has largely been determined by the quality of its leadership and the character of its citizens.
Leadership is about sacrifices, and leadership is about taking responsibilities. I'll have a lot that we need a leader to take on. So we need that leader that will have that capacity to exhibit these qualities.
For 25 years of my life, I fought for the freedom of Nigeria. Nigeria will attain independence on October 1, 1960. So it makes no difference to me whether it's Sadana or Balewa or Chief Awolowo or myself will become the first Prime Minister. So long as Nigeria is free, I'll be satisfied.
The utmost love for country and its people, the understanding that country comes first before any other interest, are what stand a true leader out from the pack.
A leader you can trust, a leader that will be able to provide all those dividends that Nigerians are looking forward to.
World Economic Forum raises concern about Nigeria's economy list 5 risk for 2023. African Development Bank AFDB names 25 finalists for its $140,000 agri-pitch competition, plus oil rises on China demand hopes, upcoming U.S. inflation data caps gains. This is Business Express on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, and we're reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Leokutin Babatunde. You're welcome. We shall inform you that the World Economic Forum has raised concerns about the health of the Nigerian economy and the tough job ahead for the country's next president. In a new report titled The Global Risk Report 2023, published on its website, the forum said its submission on Nigeria was based on responses from 1,200 private sector risk managers, public policy makers, academics, and industry leaders across the world. The organization listed terror attacks, debt crisis, cost of living, severe commodity supply crisis, rapid or sustained inflation, and unemployment or livelihood crisis as the most immediate risk facing the country's economy. Using data from the Global Risk Perception Survey 2022 to 2023 to highlight the risk the world was likely to face over the coming 10 years, the World Economic Forum said globally the coming years would present tough trade-offs for governments facing competing concerns for society, the environment, and security. The report further identified the cost of living crisis as the most severe threat facing developed and developing countries over the next 2 years, followed by natural disasters and extreme weather events, while geo-economic confrontation also features in the top 3 most severe risks in the most immediate future. The African Development Bank (AFDB) has named 25 youth-led agriculture sector companies from 14 African countries that have qualified for the final round of its $140,000 2022 Agri-Pitch competition. The Agri-Pitch competition is the product of a collaborative effort between the bank, Eldo Hub, a private equity support and partnership company, and the Private Finance Advisory Network. The 25 finalists include 17 women-owned or led small and medium enterprises. 13 are from francophone countries, while the other 12 are from anglophone countries. The Agri-Pitch competition targets African youth aged 18 to 35 years working in the agricultural value chain. The 25 finalists will receive training to build business skills capacity with the requisite tools and knowledge to bolster their investor readiness in financial management and help them pitch bankable business proposals. The competition received over 1,000 applications from African entrepreneurs, including around 250 entries from women-owned small and medium enterprises. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria will not go back on the decision to phase out the old Naira notes by the end of January 2023 in order to create an avenue for adequate circulation of the redesigned notes. Branch Controller Lagos State Godfrey Koyo, while interacting with some business operators at Balogun Market, said the bank has enough redesigned notes to supply full deposit money banks in the country.
And we are replacing. You will not expect 100% at the same time, but the banks we are supplying to the banks, and the banks will be replacing them. But this is an order coming from the Apex Bank that all ATM machines henceforth should be loaded only with the new notes, and so we expect compliance from the banks, and we believe that they are complying because they know the implication of non-compliance.
If I have seen it, in fact, all the notes, to me, I think it is perfect. You know, in Nigeria, when something is introduced new, there's going to be complaint. Even when the other old notes, when it was first in circulation, it was the same thing. But as time goes on, if the old notes is out of circulation, they will appreciate what they have.
So far, before now, I'll say from the bank, we're not seeing much of it from the bank because they're still dispensing old notes.
Okay, let's now see the official exchange rate for major currencies. Now, the proliferation of quick loan apps and instant cash lending platforms in Nigeria has, as a means of raising emergency funds occasioned by the economic downturn in the country, unemployment and poverty, has changed the entire borrowing dynamics. These online lenders give soft loans with a relatively short time period, making them attractive to thousands of borrowers. However, unconventional loan recovery tactics deployed against defaulting borrowers by these online lenders have brought untold pains and emotional trauma to many Nigerians. Several of their customers have complained of undignified ways the lenders often use to recover loans from them, including declaring the debtors dead, designing and circulating their obituary to family or friends, or tagging them HIV positive and as well criminals, among others. And so joining me to discuss the activities of these categories of fintechs in Nigeria is Mr. Kolawole Kehinde. He is the managing principal of Rose Window Consulting Limited, a business and education management consulting firm. You're welcome, Mr. Kola, to
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Yeah, of course. Thank you. So the fintech space, it gave room for online creditors to actively participate, reducing the burdens of having to go to the banks and reducing the transaction period. And of course, we understand that a number of them have actually been licensed to carry out these activities. So perhaps we start by you telling us, how does it work?
Okay, thank you. Before I start, let's look at the issue that precipitated the rise of fintechs. And if you look at it, the financial inclusion in Nigeria is still relatively small, and above around the adult population is about 50%. But the federal government, through the CBN and the Chairman Committee on Financial Inclusion, are projecting a 95% adult inclusion in the financial space by 2024. But we're in 2023. Do you think we've gotten to that? No. So, but I've come from banking space. I've worked in the retail market space a lot. Accessing a loan in Nigerian commercial bank or a microfinance bank is so tedious, and the fintechs are telling you that, hey, you don't need to come to the bank. Just give me your name, let me have your BVN, and I can give you whatever you want. Interestingly, some give as high as 300,000 naira in 3 minutes. I don't think any commercial bank can beat that speed. But you know, so if it looks so good to be true, it's probably you need to have to do some double checks. So fintech has come as a strategy for financial inclusion, and to be a money lender, because you have to start from a money lending position. That means you have to get your CAC registration. Then after the CAC registration, you still need to go to the magistrate court, file your taxes, and get some other documents for you to be licensed as a money lender. Most of the banks, most of the money lending apps that have been closed by the federal government actually could have CAC, but they don't have location and addresses, and they are just, like we said, online. They're just there, faceless, anonymous, and they're ready to tear up anybody. And you know, the rise of IT and social media has actually expanded that window of the fintechs. And the truth of the matter is that because of the vulnerable nature of the economy, rising unemployment, as you mentioned, and it's actually one of the things that is actually fueling this money lending and online loan apps business.
Yeah, of course, the idea behind this is brilliant, it's beautiful. But then at what point did they transmute from the guys everyone wants to go to into loan sharks?
Okay, you know that also in Nigeria we have a copycat culture, and everybody wants to go and do the most profitable business. So once you have that, I like your wig, I can actually get this at this for you, almost everybody will be selling wigs. Almost everybody wants to do that. So that it makes it an all-commerce market. And once you are tech savvy, or you can employ the service of a developer, you can organize, you can run a loan app even without the government being able to checkmate you, because these apps are actually on Google Play Store or Apple Play Store. So the government cannot say, Google, hey, don't register that app, don't register this. So because of the fact that the government cannot have a hold on that, it has made a lot of illegal loan apps operational, and they are so ruthless. About 2 days ago, one of a very close associate called me and said I'm in trouble, and my friend borrowed money from 5 loan apps. I said, wow, that's it had actually failed on the 5 C's of credit, and now they have collected my ATM PIN, BVN, and everything. Actually, she actually gave them every access to our details. Now any money that comes into our account, they wipe it off. And then I said, can I go and register another BVN? I said, as a consultant, please, let's agree, let's assume that we never had this conversation, because it's also illegal for you to have to BVN. So there are 2 perspectives to it, from the customer's perspective and from the business perspective, because of the fact that there is easy access. There's, most of it call it giveaway. I'm sure if you've been a social media person, you see some guys will come, I'm giving 20 FAP.
Really?
Yeah. So it's that they are so savvy, and it happens. And once you get to that point, you borrow and somebody's about to give you, and I say, okay, I'm now going to give you this money in less than how many. I say, hey, let me give it a try, and they get hooked on it. Once you get a loan app, you sign up, you ask for your contacts. Once you click access my contact,
get to that, and I was actually hoping that if the team at the back will just flash us some of those kinds of messages. This person is a criminal, this person stole, and he's wanted by the police, EFCC, and blah blah blah, and has named you as one of the persons that. At what point does association make me a part of a transaction?
Okay, I mentioned earlier on that once you are signing up on this,
yes, I think we have some of them at the back, so I might have to just make space a little bit so our viewers can see this.
Once you sign this, technically like a guarantors list, but because of the fact that these loans are non-collateralized, the lender needs to get some form of security, but that security is not what people are really worry of. Nobody wants to make them know that they're owing people because of the Data Protection Act and all of that. And once you have given them the opportunity to access your contact list, you have actually breached the data.
This particular one, I was actually interested in it because it was on Twitter sometime last year, and the person says he got money from the initial slide, got some money, and the interest due date, he made a payment of 10k to balance up 13k after 2 days, and he sent messages to all my contact numbers that I'm owing them, and that if a fraudulent yes, he is fraudulent. The thing is just so embarrassing, and now is affecting my being right now. From a non-judgmental person, how do I keep my mental health intact in this condition?
This is unfortunate, but I will take you back to the 5 C's of credit. There is character, there is capital, there is cash flow, there is condition, and there is what they call competence. Now, if capacity, now you've seen from this person, he may have character, but he doesn't have capacity because there have been conditions. You are going to pay at a so date. He breached that condition, and that means that Abuja wasn't actually qualified for that loan that he actually sought for. Another thing is that, like I mentioned, some people go as far as going to 6, 7, 8 loan apps to borrow, and you could imagine borrowing maybe a sum of 200,000 on 6, that's 1.2 million with an interest rate between 15 and 50%.
Monthly.
So how would that person pay it up? And also, since we have a challenging database in Nigeria, and our credit bureau is just growing. Ideally, when loan companies should advance credit to you, they should look you up at the credit bureau. But some of them actually look you up at the credit bureau and are still willing to lend to you so that they can just get a piece of pie of your finances. Now, it's a moral issue between the borrower and the lender. Coming to this this thing on the screen, you could see that he contact them that he had paid 10,000 and was going to pay 13. The communication is critical. If the person had communicated, probably this wouldn't have happened. But in Nigeria, when we want to beg for something, we could kneel down. But when we get the money, we now go wings. And the loan companies understand that, and they know that the easiest way to get their money back is to embarrass you.
So, but I mean, why would I be answering questions for someone perhaps I do not even know?
That is why it is always good for the borrowers to be worried about, first, am I going to allow them to access all my contacts? Because for the virtue of the fact that you are on the contact list of someone that had borrowed, it serves as a guarantor for them. Does it make it right? No. But that is what they're doing. And these are things that the illegal loan apps are doing, and the government is really fighting. There are so many loan apps that advance for all these kind of cases to the credit bureau so that they blacklist the borrower and stop them from having access to other funds. That is the ideal way to do. And of course, Nigerians too, we like there's so many people that have court cases that never show up and they just disappear, and somebody say take me to court, and they keep dragging those issues. It's not right for any loan company to forward a third-party transaction to you if you have not guaranteed them, and that is what the government is saying, and that is what should happen. Should these loan apps continue? Yes, because they are filling the void of a large number of people. As at second quarter 2022, up to we had about 20 million downloads on Google Play. Google
by people who are crying all over the place.
Yeah, it's 20 million, and the top 3 loan apps make up for 50% of that number. So you can see how interesting these kind of things are to them, and that's like, let's say, 10% of the population.
Okay, before I let you go, I'm told I don't have much time again left, but quickly, how do we sanitize this space? What do you expect of these borrowers who are the ones crying all over the place now?
Well, the first thing is responsible borrowing. Don't borrow what you will never pay back, and that's the first thing. And don't do what you cannot afford. Most of us, we want to keep up with the Joneses. A lot of people are in debt because they just had to do a Christmas party because they've been doing it every time. So the first thing is ensure that if you want to borrow for something, you can pay back. Some of us, they borrow short-term money for long-term funds, for long-term projects. So when you borrow loans of short-term for long-term projects, it becomes difficult to pay. And lastly, I think that government should continuously swoop on these loan apps, and probably liaise with Google as on that level to ensure that once these apps are registering, they have some relationship with the financial services in Nigeria.
Okay, all right. I must thank you, Mr. Kolaule Kende, for coming on the program, and of course for sharing these insights with us and members of the public. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
You're great. And so we move straight to the commodities market. Stocks reversed Tuesday's losses Wednesday as investors gained 154.29 billion naira in the equities market midweek. The all-share index advanced by 0.55% to close at 51,729.87 points. 281.9 million units of securities were traded by investors in 3,679 days, valued at 8.1 billion naira. Equity capitalization closed at 28.1 trillion naira. FBN Holdings, Boa Cement and GTCO were the most active stocks as the financial services sector dominated activities. And let's take a trip to the global market.
Asia Pacific shares are mixed this Thursday as investors look ahead to the U.S. Consumer Price Index report. Mainland China's Shanghai Composite lost 0.24%. The Nikkei 225 was flat, while Topix climbed 0.34%. Hong Kong Hang Seng Index declined 0.73%, reversing earlier gains. Stock futures in the US were little changed in overnight trading Wednesday as investors in the region also awaited the key inflation report. Futures linked to the Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped 25 points. S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq 100 futures are also flat. European markets are expected to open higher as global investors gear up for the December reading of US consumer prices on Thursday. Most markets in Africa are bleeding as they open trading this Thursday. JSE opened the day's session. Boss Swede Able, Business Express.
And that was Business Express for now. Remember to send in your comments, observations, and suggestions. Also be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us via various social media platforms. Business Express returns a Friday at 3 p.m. My name is Leah Katumbaba Tunde saying stay tuned to NTA, and of course in a few minutes we will be hooking up with our outside broadcast crew to bring you the management, the NTA retreat, of course, and it is going to be focused on the 2023 general elections. Have a blessed day and God bless Nigeria.
Hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement's impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith of the sports parliament. Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA. Keep a day with the parliamentarians. We have it.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. We're Nigerian first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. How can we develop? We're always in crisis. Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News Mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the new report room, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, no access to real-time information.
Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We are live in Abuja, the nation's capital. I'm Comfort Amadu. Let's bring you the headlines.
I believe the multi-party democratic system is the best. We try and have our colleagues, both in the sub-region and the continent, to stabilize.
President Buhari engages Universal Peace Federation, reiterates that there's no alternative to multi-party democracy.
The register of voters for the 2023 general election stands at 93,469,008 voters.
INEC presents comprehensive list of voters to political parties, says no going back on election date. (2023) budget correspondents take a look at implications on various sectors. Campaigns in top gear as political parties solicit support for the February general elections. Delving into his personal experience in Nigeria's military and civil rule, President Muhammadu Buhari firmly submits that there's no alternative to multi-party democracy. This was while playing host to a delegation of the Universal Peace Federation who called on him. State House correspondent Ademusambo has the details of this.
It is a known fact that President Muhammadu Buhari served as Nigeria's military governor minister, and head of state from 1976 to 1985, and now in the last lap of his two-term tenure as civilian president.
When there is change of governments in 4 of the states, in ECOWAS, I say, my good God, and so too we are past that stage. We'll try and stabilize the situation in those countries. I believe the multi-party democratic system is the best. We'll try and help our colleagues, both in the sub-region and the continent, to stabilize and just move forward.
The president described as welcoming the peace summit being planned for Abuja to bring all African countries together before the end of his administration. He decried the problems in the Sahel region of the continent, which he said is of great concern as both agriculture and businesses are affected negatively.
I'm impressed with the interest you have taken in Africa and so much of the knowledge you have acquired. I think it's a genuine interest, and we are prepared as much as possible relative to the sources and we have now to get involved in stabilizing all the regions.
The chairman, Universal Peace Federation International, Dr. Thomas Walsh, and the chairperson of the Federation in Africa, Dr. Catherine Ridney, had briefed President Buhari on the forthcoming summit in Nigeria, which they believe will be the best ever to be organized in Africa.
Our methodology is really about dialogue. Bring people together, promote constructive dialogue that's aimed at cooperation for achieving improvements, for outcomes, contributions to peace.
During the Abuja summit, President Buhari will be given Leadership and Good Governance Award in celebration of his fantastic anti-corruption credentials and impactful leadership. The Universal Peace Federation had earlier held similar summits in the Republic of Niger, Senegal, Sao Tome and Principe, as well as South Africa. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Also, President Muhammadu Buhari has re-emphasized that the gains recorded in security will be further consolidated and more attention will be given to the economy before leaving office on the 29th of May this year. Receiving executive members of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria on a courtesy visit, the president said with improved security situation, particularly in the northeast, focus had shifted to rebuilding infrastructure and educational reorientation. More on this with State House correspondent Adam Sambo again.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, led by its president, Most Reverend Lucius Iwejiru Ugoji, was in the State House to formally appreciate and encourage President Muhammadu Buhari to sustain his genuine efforts at ensuring successful conduct of the forthcoming elections.
Please do not relent in making sure that INEC and other relevant agencies of government carry out their serious duties to conduct peaceful, free, fair, and credible elections. It is the hope of most Nigerians that the forthcoming 2023 elections will be a watershed in the political history of Nigeria. Let our hopes not be dashed.
Most Reverend Ugoji similarly expressed confidence in the ability of the Buhari presidency to bring to an end the challenges of security in parts of the country, which he said consumed thousands of Nigerians across all religions, creed, and ethnic groups.
We conclude this message with our best wishes and sincerest goodwill to you and to all those with whom you are sharing the burdens and dignity of your high office. We reiterate our deep confidence that with God's grace and help, you will lead our nation to a much higher level as you run through the last months of your presidency.
President Muhammadu Buhari appreciated the Catholic bishops for their show of support and encouragement, as well as observations made on the nation's electoral process and the fight against insecurity.
The question of insecurity is the most serious one because unless a country or an institution is secured, it cannot be managed. So security is number one. And what is happening elsewhere in the world showed that Nigeria hasn't done badly.
On the economy, the president said creditors now have full confidence in Nigeria with the capacity to utilize resources and repay loans.
If we are not credible as a country, they will give us their resources, they will give us their services, no matter how nice we want it to be. It's a question of management, and we are getting people who are trying to manage it properly. I know you have as much problem as the government itself trying to manage the institutions and their own. I wish both of us the best of luck.
He said some of the challenges faced in the past, which include coups and counter-coups as well as civil war, had prepared Nigeria for survival, stating emphatically that the best is yet to come for the nation. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And Jide Onifade rather reports that the Vice President, Professor Olusegun, is calling for more investment in technology to change and improve business model as more Nigerians in the diaspora continue to invest significantly into the nation's economy.
Attesting to this investment into the Nigerian economy by Nigerians in the diaspora are board members of the Odra Investment Company, led by Bimbo Ashiru, while on a courtesy visit to Vice President Yemi Osinbajo to express gratitude to the federal government for instilling confidence in investors within and outside the country. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, while acknowledging efforts of the board and management of the Odra Group, also stresses the need for more investment in technology to change and improve business model. And as he puts it, technology is the way of the future. He said there is the need to